Hey guys, what's going on? It's Razx here and welcome to the 6th episode of the Brexit show. In today's episode we'll be talking about Labour's Keir Starmer saying that if Boris Johnson gets a deal it should be put to the people in a referendum. Pro-Remain MPs plot fresh vote on second referendum during Commons Super Saturday sit-in, while the Democratic Union's party threatens to torpedo Boris Johnson's make-or-break 11th hour Brexit deal if Northern Ireland is not part of a UK customs union, warns the DUP's Nigel Dodds. Boris Johnson would secure a Commons majority in a snap election as new poll shows the Tory leader is twice as popular as Jeremy Corbyn. And that is it in terms of the news for today's Brexit show episode, so let's just get into it and talk more in depth about it. So, the Labour Brexit spokesman, Keir Starmer, says Labour will demand that any Boris Johnson deal should be put to the referendum. The party's spokesman, Keir Starmer, has said. So, what he wants basically is a loser's vote. He wants Remain on the ballot and he wants to put Boris Johnson's deal against Remain. You guys know my stance on a second referendum, especially one with Remain on the ballot. It's undemocratic. It goes against the 2016 referendum, and it's sort of like Parliament are saying, you stupid idiots, why didn't you voted wrong the first time, vote again, but this time get it right or we'll have another referendum. And then Liberal Democrats are in the background saying, let's just revoke and ignore the people, So yes, that is basically what Keir Starmer has said. So MPs have vowed to test the support for a fresh poll during the 19th of October Saturday sit-in, which will take place a day after a crunch EU summit where a new Brexit deal could be signed off. So obviously Boris Johnson will go, I think it's on the 17th of October, to the EU summit, where he's obviously going to look to get support for his Brexit deals to get the EU to agree to one. So Downing Street called the weekend sit-in, if you guys didn't know that, so they could force the deal through, or force through a general election. And yeah, they're going to test a loser's vote, which I'm sick of these pro-Remain MPs. And yeah, you guys know my opinions on this second referendum. The DUP, who are pivotal to any Brexit deal, they whether they go to ERG go, and you could say the same about Jacob Rees-Mogg. They are threatening to torpedo the Johnson New Deal if Northern Ireland if Northern Ireland is not part of the UK customs union. So yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens there. If it's a bad deal for Northern Ireland, then we can't take it. Northern Ireland's part of the UK too. They're part of us, and if we go, they go. No, we stay together. That's my view on it. And Boris Johnson would secure a Commons majority in a snap election, new poll shows. So Mrs Johnson was chosen by 38% as the most favourable compared to 17% for Jeremy Corbyn. The Prime Minister received a Brexit boost as Brussels declared a deal was possible, and 85% of voters said Parliament would bear responsibility if departure is delayed, and Boris Johnson was found to be more favourable with male than female voters. So this was an opinion poll by Comres, and it was reported on by the Daily Mail. And Boris Johnson would secure a majority in a snap election, and the poll shows, and he is twice as popular than Jeremy Corbyn. So the new figures show that the Conservatives are on 33%. They would get 33% of the vote. Labour would have 27%. The Liberal and Democrats would have 18%, and the Brexit Party would have 12%. Right. So the Conservatives would win a majority, and they would also, win the election and, like I said, win a majority. That would give Boris Johnson the mandate he needs. And what is showing from all this is that, Mr. Nigel Farage said today on LBC that he thinks we won't leave on October the 31st, and that Boris is going to do the blame game and blame it on everyone else but himself. He's going to say the EU Parliament, the EU, didn't, negotiate in good faith. They didn't compromise. Our Parliament were against me the whole time, so I had to extend, and it's worked. This poll has found 85% would blame Parliament if departure is delayed. So this people versus Parliament thing is in full flow here. And 33% would vote for the Conservative Party, and 38% would vote for Boris Johnson, see him as a more favourable leader for, Prime Minister of our country. So the Lib Dems have lost a point at 18%, and Nigel Farage fell to 12%, which is also down one since the beginning of the vote. Now, in terms of seats, this would equate to Boris Johnson have 332 MPs in the Commons, a majority of 14, 226 for Labour, 33 for Lib Dems, 37 for SNP, 1 for Green Party, and none for the Brexit Party, while a third of the voters did not know which candidate to choose. So yeah, that is big. Has Nigel Farage's fox been shot? No. He has a big role to play in this, and what he's done to British politics has been amazing, and I think every Leave voter and their dog should be thanking him, because without him we'd have a Theresa May-led government and having another Brexit delay. But there's still a lot of work to do. It could be that we still have an extension at the end of October and we don't leave, but on the other hand, it could be that Boris is actually going to get us out, which I hope he does. I'm a Conservative through and through. I'm a member of the Conservative Party. I love Boris Johnson. I love Jacob Rees-Mogg. He's my personal favourite. And I want the Conservatives to, lead our country. I want, Boris Johnson to be Prime Minister. But if he's not going to deliver on the will of the people, then it's going to have to be the Brexit Party, and it's going to have to be a Nigel Farage premiership. Or I'd be saying the same right now if the Conservatives were against Brexit and Labour were for it and were willing to no deal. I'd reluctantly vote Labour. But, hopefully Boris will just get us out, is what I'm trying to say. He has the public behind it, the majority of the public. There's a few loudmouths on Twitter who like to say that everyone's views have changed when they clearly haven't. It's just a fantasy. They keep telling themselves, to let themselves sleep at night. But yeah, if you ever hear that on Twitter, they're lying. Alright? They use polls. They say, this opinion poll says Remain would win. An opinion poll also said Remain would win the referendum a week before the referendum, and look how well that turned out. The last 5 public votes have all been in favour of Brexit. Remain has never had a democratic mandate. Revoke has never had a democratic mandate. A second referendum has never had a democratic mandate. Leave has had a democratic mandate. No Deal has a democratic mandate. So all of this, no Deal has no mandate. I'm sorry, it does. It's actually Remain, second referendum, and Vote that don't have a mandate. But obviously, Remainers don't care about democratic mandates. So, yeah, that's it for this video, the Brexit show. Sorry, it's 10 minutes. That's actually not that bad, actually. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys, and yeah, I'll see you tomorrow with another episode.